Welcome back to Sacramento Smooth Jazz. I'm your host, Michael Andrews, and as you know, we have our Artist Spotlight series. And this is where we get to learn a little bit more about the artists that you hear on this station. And today we have a special treat. We have all the way here from Phoenix, Arizona, I'm on the phone, an amazing vocalist. And she's from Berklee's groundbreaking halls to being the first woman band leader at Boston's historic Wally's Jazz Cafe. And she's redefined expectations. Also co-writer of a Billboard hit, collaborator with R&B royalty, and a voice that's graced TV One's Unsung. Today's guest doesn't just perform, she connects. Her fusion of jazz and R&B delivers a powerful message of empowerment. So prepare for a conversation with the beautiful and amazing talent of our Artist Spotlight today, none other than Whitney Jones. Whitney, welcome to Sacramento Smooth Jazz. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Michael. Thank you for having me.
I am pleased to have you because I remember when your track dropped for us and I'm like, oh my gosh, this song right here. and my colleagues, they were like, who is this singing? I'm like, she does this right. And so we love your music. It's definitely in rotation with us, which is why I wanted to get you on the phone and said, listen, we got to have a conversation about your music. Let's find out more about you so our listeners know what's going on with you. I know you got a lot of new things that's happening. So let's just take it from the top. You know, you from Berklee to your residency at Wally's. What's going on? How did this all begin with you singing? What happened?
Gosh. Well, I started off like on piano first. You know, I was classically trained on piano at the age of 5, and I was just known as Little Whitney that played piano.
Oh, wow.
And played all the way through, you know, I sang in church and in choir at school and stuff like that. But no one knew I could sing until 8th grade. You know, I did a talent show and got a standing ovation. First time singing solo. And everyone's going up to my mom, oh my gosh, congratulations, she's so good. I didn't know she could sing like that. My mom was like, I didn't either.
Surprise everybody.
So, yeah, I kind of shocked everybody, and it's been up from there. You know, after high school, you know, went to Berklee. Well, I went to Georgia State University my freshman year, and then I transferred to Berklee after that. And voice was my primary instrument, but while there, I also learned guitar and percussion. So I know piano, voice, guitar, percussion, and I always tell people, like, I don't care what instrument it is. I'm a musician. You give me a spoon, you give me a pencil or something, I'm going to play it. It's like music. I'm going to make music out of anything. So. You
said pencil. So you was one of those in the class. You was that person in the class making beat. Yep. Okay, I got you. Nice.
Yep, that was me. I used to sit at the table during lunch with the boys, and they'd be beatboxing and I would be making beats.
Wow, I love it.
on the table.
Right.
Yep. And I used to freestyle with them as well in middle school. So yep, that was me. Also in church, I was probably like, it might have been one other girl, but they're at the church I went to. But it was only like mostly guys getting on the drums and playing. But I was up there with them. I was hanging in there.
From the classroom tables making the beats to singing, 8th grade, surprising mom, to Berklee. And here we are. So this constant progression of evolution and classically trained.
Yes.
That's amazing. Really?
Yes.
So we know you as a vocalist. So are you going to get more into playing the piano on some of your tracks?
Hopefully one day. You know, I like how the people that I work with, how they sound. I like writing. I write most of my songs on piano. And then from there, I just give it to my musician friends, and they make it sound even greater, you know.
Nice.
But yeah, one day I will get back to performing on piano and singing for everyone. I used to do that a lot. I used to play and sing a lot, but one day. Right now, we're just focused on the singing and getting out there, you know, making people aware of these songs that I have right now.
But you talked about your writing. You said you're right, and which is really amazing. So got a Billboard hit, got some diverse collaborations. How do you navigate the two genres? How do you go back and forth? Is this something that you feel?
Honestly, I feel like genres, it's a marketing thing, right? The whole idea of like putting the music into a category, because some days I'm writing and it sounds like a disco something. Some days I write and it sounds like a country ballad. Other days it's a pop song. You know, I really am widely versed. I enjoy a lot of different styles of music. I love the arts in general. So, I mean, I write for musicals. I write for movies. I write, you know, I don't just write like to a specific genre, so to speak. I don't know if I answered your question.
No, you did.
Forgot the question.
No. You're good. I mean, the thing is, you know, you have this talent that you're thinking of some songs, and it doesn't matter of the genres. It's just like, it's what you're feeling, which is great. You know, so you're not trying to pigeonhole yourself into a specific genre as some people just do, you know. I mean, you're going with the feel. I love it.
Exactly. Like I've always admired like musicians and producers who were able to switch genres and just create a beautiful musical sound. Like he just passed away, but Quincy Jones, my God. I mean, he's on my vision board. It was a goal of mine to work with him one day. I know he still has the production company and everything that he left. So I'm assuming one day I'll still be able to work with his crew. But yeah, like Quincy Jones or even Raphael Sadiq, Prince, like people were like able to just create, and it didn't matter the particular genre. Someone who's current who still does that is Pharrell, Timbaland. Like, those are two heavy hitter producers that they can go into different genres and it still sounds great, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I admire that.
I want to take it back just a little bit because I talked about it in the intro, and I definitely want our listeners to know about it. You being the first woman band leader at Boston's historic, you know, Wally's Jazz Cafe. How did that happen, and what was that experience like?
Oh yes, Wally's was a training ground.
Yeah.
So it's a little hole in the wall spot in Boston, and it's like the who's who in jazz come to this particular venue and perform. They've had so many great come through those doors. I was invited to come and sing at a friend's show, and the rest is history. I literally came in and sat in and sang a couple songs, and they were like, "You coming back next week, right?" And I was like, I wasn't planning on it, but no, you're coming back, and this is what we're going to pay you, and this is what you're doing. So I did that for a while. And then, you know, the guards changed, and eventually I got a phone call, and it was like, "Hey, Whitney, this can be your night. This is going to be your night." So it ended up being Soulful Sundays with Whitney Jones.
Wow.
And I did a mixture of jazz, neo soul, and contemporary R&B. You know, so it was a wonderful, wonderful evening. I mean, we had horns. There were sometimes multiple guitarists. Bass, keys, drummer. It was definitely a wonderful, wonderful experience, and I'm thankful for that.
That is the epitome of your gift making room for you. Yeah. you know what I mean? I mean, you go there, and then before you know, you're told. You don't ask for a call back. You're told you're coming back. Yeah. and I can only imagine the look on people's faces. No, you're coming back. You're coming back. You're coming back. Yeah. And I you know how folks can be when they know they want something good and they see something and hear something good. There's that conversation like, no, you're coming back. And then getting your own night?
Yeah.
Wow. Come on. That's amazing. Kudos to you. Oh, my goodness. So from that, then once leaving that, then, you know, what was the next step for you? Next milestone?
So after Wally's, I was still in Boston. So I was performing at a lot of different venues there, Wild Jazz Club and other places. Like, I was going down to New York, going to Rhode Island, going to Connecticut. I was getting a lot of different calls to, you know, go to different venues or people's private events, and they were like, "Hey, we want to hire you and your band. Come sing at this birthday party." You know, it's in Connecticut. You know, like, okay, you know. So I was just making a name for myself up and down the New England area, and it wasn't until 2012 when I was like, I'm going to be an artist full time. Like, this is what I'm doing. And everyone was like, duh, yeah.
Right? Like, hello, we've seen this.
Yeah, we know. And because at these events, I was bringing in original music, and I would rehearse with the band. I'm like, hey, you guys, I wrote a song. Sometimes I would just improvise and make up a song on the spot. Mm-hmm. I've been songwriting since I was in elementary school. Like, so songwriting it's second nature to me. I hear something and I can just make a song. So I would do that often. In the middle of the set, I would just create a new song or improvise one. Mm-hmm. And so it was 2012 when I was like, yeah, I think we should get this stuff recorded and like really do this. And they were like, yeah. Right. You should.
Yes.
So from 2012, I started recording my EP, Higher, which is out everywhere still. So there's 4 tracks on there. There's Higher, Strength of a Woman, Riding the Waves, and Feeling So Good. Those songs are near and dear to me. And since 2012, I relocated to Phoenix, Arizona, and I just continued to promote my music and sing and perform. So here we are. And now I'm doing a full album here. April 25th is when it's coming out, Based on Reality.
Oh, and that's a lovely album. I want to talk about that. Going back to Strength of a Woman, that stood out to me, not because, if anything, I love that song and the message that you're giving women to empower them. And I thought that was really me. I have sisters. So, me wanting to see them empowered, of course, always. And then hearing that song, I'm like, wow, this is an anthem that women need to hear. So I'm going to encourage our female audiences and males too. Hey, man, listen, it's a nice track, wonderfully arranged, Strength of a Woman. Listen, it's a great track. When I heard it, I said, oh, and this is when I first heard your track, your latest one. I said, who is she? And I found some other music. I said, oh, this one here. And we were playing that for a while.
Oh, and nice. So thank you.
I didn't tell you that. Yeah, we were playing that for a while. When at the same time that your latest track was playing, I was playing both of them.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. I was like, this is good stuff. So that's what we do here. We play this thing. We play the music that we like. And it's not just me making the decisions. I have colleagues who also are behind the scenes that listen to it. And when I submit music to them, they just give me back the grading system that we use. And I don't tell them what I've done. And most of the time it's unanimous. I have to say about 85% of the time it's unanimous. I'm like, wow, so we're on track. But everything seems to have just flowed well for you. Now, for those out there who may be going through a few extra speed bumps, what do you say to them when they're trying to break out? They're doing their best, to get in the industry. What do you say to someone like that?
Keep going.
Keep going.
Keep going. And more than anything, understand your why. Why are you doing this? Why are you wanting to, whatever industry you go in, I don't care if it's music, architecture, law, whatever, it doesn't matter the industry. Is this a part of your purpose? Is this helping humanity? Is this serving, the greater good? And why? What is your why? You have to have a why in order for it to really be impactful and in order for it to be meaningful. I have survived lots of speed bumps over the years. I didn't mention in my story that I became a teen mom at the age of 16.
Okay.
Yeah. And so imagine that, and knowing like I have this goal of wanting to do this, and I've been wanting to go to Berklee since 7th grade, and then boom, I became pregnant in high school, right? Right. And so having to overcome adversity. So I was 19 years old when I drove myself up to Boston with my 3-year-old. I was 19. And I drove up there, and I did not have the money to attend Berklee. I went up there. I had my acceptance letter. I had gotten an apartment. And I sat in the financial aid office and I was like, I am here. And I sat there with my 3-year-old son and I was like, I'm here and I'm not going back until I finish my degree.
Come on.
And they were like, oh, okay, well, let's see what we can do for you.
Ooh.
Oh, such and such won't be back. Oh, the person that you need to talk to, the director or the vice, whoever, they won't be back until 4 hours. I'll sit here. I literally sat in the lobby on the floor with my son and just waited.
I heard that.
And I just waited and I waited.
Okay.
And the director of Birth Stars came around the corner and she was like, oh, look at, like playing with my toddler. I'm like, oh, look at him. Hey. And she's like, what are you waiting out here for? Oh, I'm waiting for the director of the Birth Stars. Blah, blah, blah. She was like, oh, that's me. And I was like, oh. So I told her my name and she was like, oh, yeah, okay, let's go in the office. And, they worked some magic and they were able to get me some scholarships and everything in order for me to get through that first semester. But then after that, I busted my tail every semester to make sure I made the dean's list so I could get the Berklee Achievement-Based Scholarship and whatever else other departments scholarships they had. I did community service. I did volunteer work. I did so much just to make sure that I could get through to Berklee, finish my degree. Because I told them I didn't come up here just to be up here. Like, I'm doing this. This is what I'm doing. This is my life. This is not play.
Yeah.
So I've had my fair share of bumps in the road, and I might mention that I raised my first son, with the help of family, but his father wasn't in his life. So I was a single mom doing this, going to college. So anybody who's like, oh, they can't do it and they have excuses, I'm like, look, I know what it's like to feel hopeless or even, like you can't see the end of the road, but you just take one step at a time and you keep going. Like, I didn't know when I drove up there that they were going to have financial aid available for me. I just took a leap of faith and got in that U-Haul truck. And I drove 26 hours from Atlanta to Boston so I could pursue the goal that I set for myself when I was younger,
Your story is so inspiring. It's to me, it's a testament of not just faith, but putting actions behind what you believe. Putting actions behind what you believe, not wavering one bit. And I'm sitting here honestly just thinking, wow, there have been many times where I'm looking at my own life and I'm going, okay, you're inspiring me. It's just not giving up, caving in, or quit attitude because of whatever situations may be in front of you. But you're here. I like what you said. You said, I'm here. I'm here. I don't know how many people who would have driven anywhere with, just with that level of faith. And so it's a testament. And I'm sure our listeners are taking note that no matter what's going on, having the faith and keeping it moving and without doubting, things can happen for you. Now, I want to talk about your album that's about to release. You mentioned it's coming out later on this month. It's called Based on Reality. Let's talk about that. Yeah. How did that come about? I was fortunate enough to listen to the entire album. You guys sent it to me a few weeks ago, and I went through it several times, made my notes, sent it, and I'm telling you, we talked about it offline. I'm just being real. It's bad. And when we say bad, we know we mean good. You know what I'm saying? So I know I can't let the cat out of the bag, but talk to us about your album, the origination, the emotion behind it, the inspiration behind it. What's going on? So
Based on Reality is the title of the album. And I decided to call it that because the songs that I wrote were simply based on reality, whatever I was dealing with at the time. I started writing this album in 2020, and that was around the time where we had like the pandemic. I remember the world shut down, right? Mm-hmm. Right. I went through this, I was a newlywed. First of all, let me back up. I quit my full-time job in 2019 and then was like, all right, I was already performing and recording, but I was like, I'm going to really step into this artistry seat, being an artist, full-time, not playing anymore. So 2019, I left my job and then I got married in November And then this pandemic happened. It was probably around March or so when everyone was ordered to stay at home and wear masks and all of that. Remember, everything kind of shut down around March.
Right.
And I sank into this depression, and I wanted to unlive. I no longer wanted to be on the earth, and I just was like, what's the point? But some kind of way, that light within me started twinkling and was like, hey, you should write.
Right. Okay.
So I started writing gratitude every day. 5 things I'm grateful for every single morning. First thing I did when I woke up. I started doing meditation. I started going to therapy and dealing with whatever I needed to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, the light within me started like shining, like, okay, come on out, And so I started writing songs. I started writing these songs, and one of the first songs on this album is called I Am Grateful. And I literally listed things, lots of different things that I was grateful for. Even the pain, the rain, the ups and downs. It makes me think of Frankie Beverly and Maze with their song Joy and Pain.
Right.
And how he kind of sings of this contrast of there's the up and down, there's the joy and the rain and the pain, but we need all of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of the premise, similar premise to I Am Grateful. So with that said, I continued to write song after song. Again, I was a newlywed too, so I wrote some love songs. And I was a songwriter who said, I'm not writing any love songs.
Right.
There's enough love songs out there. And then I fell in love, and then here we are. It's just been love song after love song.
Right.
After
Never
love
say
song.
never, right?
Exactly. So yeah, these songs came from that experience. I wrote my way out of a depression, and I'm thankful for the entire process of it. It was a beautiful journey, and when I go back and listen to the songs, they still encourage me to this day. So
okay,
I'm proud of that work.
Nice. So let's do this here. You're performing somewhere, so tell our listeners where you're going to be performing.
All right, on May 9th. I am going to be performing Based on Reality, an evening of excellence at Chandler Center for the Arts here in Arizona. That concert is at 7 p.m. It's going to be a wonderful experience where you're going to have Packer Lane is opening for me. And then I get to present my album live for the first time, the full album. And so I'm so excited. Most of the musicians who are performing with me also played on the album. So it's just lovely. It's going to be a beautiful experience.
Yes.
I'm excited.
You should be. For those of you who are, near the Arizona, come on down, check it out. How can folks find out more about you, your website, social media? Because I'm sure you have all this posted there as well. So how can they reach you?
Yes, you can go on my website, www.whitneyjonesmusic.com. The tickets are also available on Ticketmaster. You can go on Chandler Center for the Arts, their website, and get tickets through there. As far as social media, you can find me at Whitney Jones Music on Instagram, at Whitney Jones Music on YouTube, at Whitney Jones Music on TikTok, at Whitney Jones Music page on Facebook, and on X, which used to be Twitter but is now X, Whitney J Music. Okay,
so most of it, they could start with WhitneyJonesMusic.com and go from there and find you.
Yes.
Absolutely. Before we leave, though, I want folks to hear a song.
Okay.
Any song that you want to share. And tell us a little bit about the song, who's on it if you want to, how it came to be. What do you want to share with the listeners?
So I would love to continue to highlight the single that's been out called Under the Moonlight. This is actually one of my favorite songs on the album, and it features Marcus Williams' guitar solo in there. He's a phenomenal guitarist. I also have Andre Frappier on guitar, playing rhythm guitar throughout the song. I have Mel Brown on bass for that track, Ira King on drums, and W. Timothy Bailey Jr. produced this song with me, and he just put his magic on Under the Moonlight and brought it to life. I mean, I sent him the chords and the structure and everything how I wanted it to be, and he sent me this track back, and I was like, oh, yeah.
Yes, indeed. Well, I want to thank you for hanging out with us, for a little bit today. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for, letting people know more about you. I'm grateful and for what you're doing. I'm looking forward to hearing more of your music on the radio as well. And we're going to help in that regard. And you know that. So I want to say thank you again. Really appreciate it.
Oh, you're most certainly welcome, Michael. I mean, my whole focus is to uplift, inspire, and empower people through music to kick fear out of their face and walk in love. So that's my mission. And thank you for playing my music to help get the music out for the people to hear. The people need real soul music.
You're absolutely right. Ladies and gentlemen, Whitney Jones, and we're leaving off with her latest track that's out right now, and that's Under the Moonlight, right here on Sacramento Smooth Jazz.
Until